You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
This is Rod Mahood, your in-game voice of the Niagara IceDogs, and you're listening to the Dog Pound Podcast on the Armchair GM Sports Network, your podcast source for all game analysis, team interviews, and up-to-date news regarding the Niagara IceDogs.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another special edition of the Dog Pound Podcast for the first time in video form, right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network, your June 11th, 2021 edition, your source North American sports coverage by sports fans, for sports fans, delivered to you right here in the beautiful Niagara region. You can find us on social media for updates and giveaways by following the podcast on Twitter at Armchair GM Pod, as well as this show's podcast. Make sure you're following it at Dog Pound Podcast for all updates regarding this show and all Niagara IceDogs related news. You can like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. We are on many different platforms, including Spreaker.com, the free Spreaker app, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, CastBox, and Deezer, as Kyle keeps counting them on his fingers for you there on the video version. And obviously now in video form on YouTube, so make sure, it's on the other side. Nope, I'll get it right there. There it is, the subscribe pillow right there. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, liking us, and leaving us a comment down below, and hitting that bell icon for all updates on videos that are posted on our YouTube channel. And lastly, our beautiful user-friendly website, armchairgmsports.com, for all things regarding the network, including articles, podcast episodes, sponsors, and contributors. Everything's on there for you guys, so please go give us some love and check that out, and please subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to us right now. As always, I'm one of your hosts of the Dog Pound Podcast. My name is Brandon Caputo. You can follow me on Twitter right below there at Caputs13_AGM with the Canadian Z. And joined with me once again on the IceDogs version of the podcast, he is just Kyle51. Kyle, I'm sure you're excited to talk about something that's not Toronto Maple Leafs hockey, so I'm sure you're really excited to talk about the Niagara IceDogs, and we got a special edition today. We're talking with the head coach, Billy Burke. We haven't, talked to him since last August, and we're used to talking to him in post-media scrum, so it's going to be really nice to be able to talk to him once again and just get fired up once again for the start of hopefully the 2021 OHL season for the Niagara IceDogs.
Like you said, we're here to talk about the Niagara IceDogs. Yeah. In the intro, the dogs of Niagara. Yeah, I'm excited. Pumped. Hey, we're in video version. We're in pog form.
Yeah.
One episode of The Simpsons. But yeah, we're here doing video versions of the podcast now. I'm excited to talk to Billy as well. It's been a while since we talked to Billy. Was it last year?
Last August.
Last summer?
Last August.
It wasn't last month?
No, that was no, it wasn't last month, like you said.
But yeah, I'm excited to just talk to Billy and see what he's been up to, how his thoughts were on this year's OHL draft, and we basically have a double crop of rookies now coming into this coming season, where fingers crossed that we're actually going to have an OHL season this year. Because I remember this time last year we were saying the exact same things I'm about to say. Is I can't wait for the fall for the new OHL season. Let's hope we actually get it this time. Or else I don't know how it's going to work with 3 crops of drafted talents in 1 year. That'll just be a little bit ridiculous. But yeah, I'm excited for talking to Billy again. It's always nice for one of the Burks to come on the show and talk to us. So shouts to you two. Shouts to the Burks, fans of the show. But yeah, I'm very excited to talk to him.
Yep, so let's get into that. We are going to go into our interview with the Niagara IceDogs head coach, Mr. Billy Burke. Enjoy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another special edition of the Dog Pound Podcast right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. On today's episode, we are pleased to be joined once again by the head coach of the Niagara IceDogs, Mr. Billy Burke. Coach, it's Brandon and Kyle here with you again. Thanks for joining us on today's show. And it's actually been 10 months since we last spoke with you in 2020. Wish we were talking on better circumstances, but it's good to have you back on talking about an exciting new crop of IceDogs that are just joining the organization after the OHL draft that just happened.
For sure. It's great to be back on with you guys. And I'm glad before we start, it's nice to have the opportunity to just, commend you guys on the great job you've done, over a difficult season, finding content. The same, Matt Young, I know, and Austin as well with the TV show, Brandon, that you were involved in. So, you guys just have really made, the most of a bad situation. And I'd like to include our social media manager, Jordan Moose, as well. You guys, you almost seem to be the forgotten ones, but you guys are struggling through this past year just like all of us. And, it certainly hasn't gone unnoticed, your hard work on our end.
Oh, we appreciate that. It's definitely been hard to find content at times, but it's nice to talk to you and GM Joey and some of the players over the last year. I know for Kyle and myself, we're dying to get back in the Meridian Center, but we appreciate that, and it has been a long year, but hopefully better things are on the horizon with the OHL season. And kind of going off what we asked GM Joey in our last episode, Coach, but from the coaching side of things, has it been important for you guys as a staff to kind of stay in touch with the players as far as training and preparation, just given the fact that you haven't seen them in person in so long, and also just making sure that as human beings they're in good places as well, considering how mentally tough this pandemic has been, not just for athletes, but everyone in society trying to stay safe and, more importantly, continuing to be there for their teammates as well?
Definitely. That has been the big thing. Even over the course of the season when we were paused, our contact with the players, our Zoom meetings, very much, if we did talk hockey, it was very informal. It was much more on how they're doing, how they're feeling, what are you up to, how's the training going. But, in terms of us doing, serious system stuff or stuff like that, it wasn't like that. It'd be more so, if I was watching an NHL game or someone on the staff was watching an NHL game, then we can send the guys some quick clips and some videos and stuff like that over the course. Now, just incredibly excited to turn our focus, and I just cannot wait to get this group of guys back together. It's unbelievable how much we've missed it.
Yeah, and on a side note here, Joey, GM Joey was hoping that the players would not be taking whatever workout regimens he was doing at home and kind of not going off of that. Are you hoping that the players are kind of not following the Billy Burke workout regimen either, and maybe whatever that entails with these opening outdoor activities?
Well, yeah, I can tell you right now, I would not be able to keep up with these guys in their workouts anymore. That's for sure. And, just definitely been hitting the Uber Eats a little bit too often, so got to get myself back into shape a bit here as well.
Little plug for Uber Eats there. I like it.
Billy, the season was delayed till December, then February, then put on hiatus the last few months before this decision was ultimately made to shut down. Just how much are you hoping to see some of these overage players back and to have an opportunity to play this overage year if they felt that they wanted to come back to junior hockey for one more season, bearing a decision that would obviously have to be made by the OHL?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. It's, it's sad, but that all those guys won't be able to, have just been aged out and won't have the opportunity to be that double OA type thing. But for the guys that missed the season, it was their last season. I absolutely can't wait to see them and get them out to the Meridian Center, and hopefully when we have fans and, give them the honor that they deserve. Because for anybody graduating anything, this past year and a half, just, my heart goes out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And given the fact that there has already been many players lost to the NHL and OHL and AHL who would have been eligible for the OHL and CHL hockey in general if there was a season, do you see that as a possibility for there essentially to be a reset for the league, as everyone will most likely be starting over and having to develop new stars to fill the shoes of the top guys that the league lost not having the 2020 and 2021 season here?
For sure. It's a great point. It's going to be very interesting. It's hard to really expect, to know what to expect going into it. But I certainly think, there could be a lot more parity, especially earlier. I think teams will probably, lean to go a little bit younger maybe, just because we've had two drafts and we just haven't played, a game yet from two drafts, which is, very uncommon. So it's going to be very interesting to see as we get going what the league's like. There's going to be a feeling out process, teams, players getting back up to speed with everything. So I have no doubt in my mind, come the second half of the season, it'll be roaring like it always has been. But it'll certainly be a little bit touch and go at the start for sure. But I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, we're so excited too, Billy. And before we move on to talking about what's next with the IceDogs, just how happy are you seeing the next crop of great IceDogs alumni going on to great things, other than just talking about Pietrangelo, Dougie Hamilton, Strome, Dunn, just to name a few. For example, Carter Verhaeghe in Florida this year, playing on the top line with a star like Alex Barkov and scoring 16 even-strength goals this year in only 43 games for him. Jason Robertson in Dallas, Alex Nedeljkovic in Carolina, really emerging and taking massive steps in their development. Both are Calder finalists this year as best rookies. This season battling with Kaprizov from Minnesota for their honor, and as well as Keel Thomas and Tomasino have been showing major progress in the OHL level this season in their first year of pro hockey.
Absolutely, it's very exciting, and it certainly makes you feel, proud that Jason Robertson was with us 2 years ago, and now he's up for the Calder. It's what a special person he is, and to just have been a small step on his path to greatness is amazing. And same goes for Ned, to see a young goalie at his age handle that play just outstanding on a legit cup contender in Carolina. Carter Verhaeghe, like you said, just an outstanding person. There is a great example of perseverance. Carter Verhaeghe, the way, grinded in the minors, waited for his opportunity, earned a spot on Tampa as, fourth line, in and out of the lineup guy, but still a great piece in why they won the cup. And then to go to Florida and get the opportunity to be the guy with a great coach and play with a superstar and then deliver. It's just outstanding to see how far these guys have come. And I know that these next group of IceDogs, our current IceDogs, they look and they see, wow, it wasn't too long ago I was teammates and playing against these guys. And it's a real possibility that, our current players will be in their shoes very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully we see more of that with the new crops that have been drafted to the IceDogs here 2020, 2021. And we're going to get into that more after our commercial break. So stay right here, folks. We'll be right back on the Dog Pound Podcast and our interview with head coach Billy Burke right here on the Dog Pound Podcast and on the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Experience a new way to play daily fantasy sports and esports on Thrive Fantasy. Thrive's game concept revolves around player props, which are simple over-unders on player stats. There are contests for traditional sports including the NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, and cricket, as well as esports titles including CSGO, Dota 2, League of Legends, and more coming soon. Here's how to play. Choose your lineup of over-unders for top-tier athletes that have the biggest impact on the game. Each prop has a fantasy point total based on how likely it is to hit. The more points the selection is worth, the riskier it is. Rack up the most points and win a share of the prize pool. Thrive is awarded over $2 million in cash, so come and prop up today.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network, the Niagara region's best local source for North American sports podcasting coverage. By sports fans, for sports fans.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to segment 2 of our interview today on the Dog Pound Podcast with the head coach of the Niagara IceDogs, Mr. Billy Burke. And Kyle, go ahead, take it away.
So, Billy, after the draft lottery results a few weeks back, because you didn't have a first-round pick this year, but it couldn't have worked out any better in your mind, where you'd be picking back-to-back at 22 and 23 overall. Basically, your first picks of the draft and setting yourself up nicely to take 2 possible high ceiling impact players right out of the gate.
For sure. No, honestly, it's I'm a big believer in, karma and hockey gods and all that. And, if you look at the draft order where some other teams landed, where we landed, it really seemed like it couldn't have worked out better or more, fairly for really all the teams in the league. And to have the opportunity to pick high in the second round back-to-back, it was very exciting for us. Just great, outstanding leadership by Joey through this whole evaluation process. Obviously it was different, but we never saw it as an excuse. It was a real opportunity to really, really work hard and try to do something special. And then to be able to go Copeland Costanzo right at the top, of the second round, like you said, it just set the table. Then Declan Waddick at the end of the second round, we can't believe it. And then Andrew Weisfield, Connor Haynes, and Jax Wismer. I mean, these six guys were, six of the guys in our top 30, and to walk away with all six of them, it's unbelievable, and we could not be more excited.
Awesome.
And we heard GM Joey's comments that he was extremely pleased with how the draft went, and that you essentially got, like you just mentioned, guys in rounds that were projected to be long gone by the time you were drafting. Do you obviously echo those same words from the coaching side of things with the confidence level that Joey had about it being another very quality draft all around for your organization?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And it was a very unique experience. I was involved way more than I've ever been, so with Joey, Brandon Curry, Roger McLeod, Vince Tarantino, Sean Tikla, and myself, we put a ton of hours in, had long meetings, there were some long nights, but we had a plan, we had backup plans, we were prepared, we knew these guys, and, the hard work paid off, and we just couldn't be more excited. And, I think some teams maybe didn't take this draft as seriously, and you know what, I think it might show.
And with those two second rounders, obviously you discussed Juan Copeland, the 5'11 winger from Michigan with the Detroit Honey Baked, and then also Joey Costanzo, the 6-foot goaltender, played in 2019-20 season with the Marlboros. He's last played in the GTHL with the Marlboros against Niagara IceDogs second-round pick from last year, Pano Fimis. GM Joey said that he was far and beyond the best goaltender prospect in the draft and thinks that he can be the face of the franchise-type goaltender for you down the road. Just how exciting are these two players going to be for you guys moving forward, and what IceDog fans can expect from both of them?
Yeah, no, there's no kidding. We're incredibly excited by both those guys. Obviously, Juan Copeland is a high-skill, high-speed, modern-day player with an NHL ceiling. If he didn't have options, he would have been a top 10 pick in this draft without a doubt. So we are extremely thrilled to be able to bring in Juan and his family. And then Joey, exactly. Joey Costanzo is a guy we believe is the best 2005-born goalie eligible for this draft. We did our homework on this player incredibly, and we feel very confident on him. There wasn't a doubt in our mind that if he got there, we were taking him. We were thrilled. And then, we have to talk about Declan Waddick at 39. We made a trade to acquire the late second-round pick. We knew, we were very comfortable with a large group of high-quality players that we felt would be available in that range that could have an immediate impact. And we never thought Declan Waddick would be there. He was he was one of our options for 22, 23, convinced he would not be there by the end of the second round. So with these three guys, a centerman, a winger, and a goalie, just three incredible young men and great hockey players that the fans are quickly going to love. And
just a quick follow-up to that before Kyle takes over, just how much did you enjoy kind of, with there not being a season and you focusing on the coaching side of things, just how much did you enjoy that process of kind of being, GM Joey Burke in certain aspects and kind of looking more at the scouting side of things and the front office type of things? Did you enjoy that process and that experience, or would you rather just be on the ice with the whiteboard and with the players?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly love working with the guys once they get here, and Joey and I are up, obviously on the exact same page when it comes to the kind of guys we like. But I really loved being involved in this. Incredibly impressed by Joey, the draft he ran, the staff he ran, our meetings. It was just unbelievably organized, unbelievably professional, unbelievably thorough. It was very exciting, and, just hours and hours and hours and hours of video to go through. But that is what coaching is these days. So I was, very comfortable with that, very comfortable looking at things that could possibly translate from minor midget into the OHL. So just a very fun process, a very rewarding process. and then to get have the draft that we had. It's outstanding, and we really feel in a couple of years we're going to look back at this draft, and it's going to be a big reason why we'll be having the future success that we will.
Awesome. So, Billy, your organization drafted Pano Fimis second overall in last year's OHL draft. We know how excited he was personally when we spoke to him last summer, as well as yourself, coaching staff, and teammates to get going with him and the rest of the exciting crop of rookies who are projected to come in and have a big impact in for that 2020 IceDogs season. Has this unprecedented layoff made you even more excited to see what it will look like to have essentially 2 draft class worth of players coming into this organization starting at the same time, and maybe how much bigger or stronger they've gotten since they were drafted, as these years are big for their natural growth and as for growing young adults?
Of course. I mean, and even right off the bat, the heights and weights listed for this year's drafted players are wrong. They're a year wrong. There was no central scouting. There was no accurate heights and weights. So, I mean, you'll see a guy listed at 5'9" on the draft, and he's going to show up in September, closer to 6 feet. So it's exactly like you said. At this age for these guys, and the way they, handle their bodies these days, they basically train like pros from 14. So, to get this 04 group in, headlined by Pano Fimis, Alec Leonard, Bryce Cook, Dylan Rubrick. I mean, these guys, I'm unbelievably excited for these guys. We had high hopes from last year, and Pano Fimis, I mean, he's going to be a 17-year-old rookie, but he's coming in as a prime-time guy who is going to be playing big minutes in big situations right away. And, you complement that with, our 02 class, who's now 2 years older, our 03 class, Enright, Tato, and Augustinelli up front, Tucker Tynan's back. So it's very exciting. There will be serious competition for roster spots and minutes, but, that's the environment we want.
Yeah, we're so excited for Tucker to come back. You have no idea. But following up on that, does that make some challenges for you as coaching, knowing that there's a lot more new guys coming into the organization at once than you would typically see in the normal years? There may be essentially double the number of bodies looking to fill a lot of spots here.
Yeah, for sure. It's a double cohort. I was in grade 11 when the double cohort hit, and they got rid of OAC. So I'm getting some double cohort flashbacks these days. But I know it's exciting. The league's going to be young. We're going to put young guys, young skilled guys in good positions and let them go. We're in a great spot. In our cycle, we're on the way up, but we have no pressure to try to go win it all this year. It's just going to be a really fun season. And after all this time off, I just can't wait to get back to everything. It's crazy how much it puts everything into perspective. And I certainly feel like I've been doing everything I can to make sure that I come back a much better coach than when I left.
Oh, it's going to be nice to get back. Once this is all over, we can actually physically shake hands there, Billy. And here, when we're all safe to do so.
And going off that, Billy, just real quick, the competition level, do you think that that's going to be, a big thing as well? Because you, like Kyle mentioned, you just have so many guys coming in at once. And just, do you think that that's going to be a healthy competition for guys to push each other? And they're all going to be coming in with, a clean slate. There's not going to be many guys, especially from these 2 draft classes, that have any rapport with you guys. So they're all coming in with the same, at the same level, at the same time, and kind of all trying to earn their opportunity on the same level. And do you think that that's going to be kind of healthy for this group?
Absolutely. Part of the definition of being a rookie is you didn't play in the league the year before. Well, none of us played in the league the year before. So we're all coming in as, rookies in some sense. And with that comes, no sense of entitlement. We need to have a high sense of urgency early. And, but I believe in our older guys. I know that our older guys, our 02s, Cam Butler, Jake Uberti, these guys are incredible young men that are going to come back, be leaders, be big time minutes for us, be impact players. Yeah, I really can't wait to see the great strides that these 2 have as undrafted players. So they have a lot to prove. We all have a lot to prove, and it's going to be exciting.
And we know you still have the import draft coming up at the end of the month, and we're not really sure, how that's going to go. But we're not going to ask you to go through every single pick that you guys made because there's just not enough time for that. But because you haven't seen these guys in person, is there a player or two that in the later rounds that you were really excited to coach and that maybe be flying under the radar a bit that IceDog fans should keep an eye on? Maybe from either the 2020 or 2021 draft later on.
Well, you know what? Just one guy, that kind of jumps out would be Zach Schultz. One of our 6th-round picks from this season out of Honeybake. Now he's committed into the U.S. team program for the next 2 years. So there's no chance of him showing up in the next 2 years. And when we spoke to him, that's what we said. We're not here to disrupt anything for you. We just have so much respect for him. And after we get to getting to know him over the course of this and the past week more specifically, I'm blown away by our chances of landing this player, when he comes out of the program in 2 years. I would say right now, being conservative, it's probably looking at something like 50-50 at absolute worst. So, he's a guy with a bright future that we certainly believe in, and we know he has options as an American-born player, and God bless him, he deserves them. But it's very exciting to know that Niagara IceDogs are high up on his list. And
going off that, too, you guys had the U18 priority selection. You guys took 3 players. You guys took another goalie. So you guys have been taking goalies very high here and then the 2021 draft and then the U18 priority. Just any quick comments on the 3 players that you took recently in the U18 priority selection?
Yeah, the U18 selection, again, you need to go about it a certain way. You might land a star player, but it's more realistic that you land a bottom 6 forward, or a bottom pair defenseman or a backup goalie, but all serviceable OHL players that you certainly need on your team. So it's a very important draft and something that the teams do take seriously. And for us, drafting Bo Profsky in the first round, he's a goaltender we very much liked in his minor midget year. We followed him, and we like him as a person. We like him as a player. Roger McLeod speaks very highly of him, and we definitely think he has the potential to be an OHL player.
Awesome. And we talked with you last time you were with us, just about your dream about putting together this lineup on the whiteboard and, what that team could possibly look like for you as it continues to piece together with the 2 draft classes. Just how much are you and your staff chomping at the bit to get these young men back in the doors and continue to help them develop and grow as hockey players, and more importantly, helping them grow as young men for the important life development skills they're going to need as well?
For sure. It's crazy. It was great to see, Cody Hall on the weekend with Tico. We have an unbelievable chemistry. I'm so excited, for Sean Tico as an up-and-coming coach. Just unbelievable smart guy, hard-working guy. I know the players already love him. So he's just a great addition to our staff. And then, like you said, to get these guys back under one roof, we are just beyond excited. I wish we could do something tomorrow. We've waited way too long. To say we're excited is an unbelievable understatement. It really has put a lot of things into perspective, has really made, myself reflect on a lot of things. And just getting back with these young guys, helping them become better people. And, like we say, good players that are good people, put in good situations and good things happen. So that's what we just try to live by, and, can't wait to get back to doing that.
And last question here for you, Coach. As you discussed with us the last few times that we've talked to you, that the culture and competition level are big things that you try to instill into all players within the organization. Are you pleased with how the players have been able to come together, obviously during this extremely difficult time over the last year, and making sure that you as a staff, but more importantly, them and their teammates are checking in on each other as physical preparations, but also as human beings to make sure that we're all in a good place mentally as well, which is really important in today's society?
Of course. It's so important on top of everything else. If a guy is not, happy in his environment, if he doesn't like coming to the rink, if coming to the rink is a chore, if it's a job, if you're getting yelled at and beat down all the time, how do you expect guys to have fun and play well? So, that's absolutely number one importance is the mental and physical well-being of our guys, goes without saying. And honestly, every day, I'm continue to be blown away and impressed with these players and the maturity of these players, almost on a daily basis. They without me saying anything, they go and contact all our draft picks, welcome them to the organization. They're always looking out for each other. They push each other to be the best, to live the athlete lifestyle that they want, to push each other to be world-class NHL players. And if not hockey, professional hockey players, then they become great members of society. So it's, I'm very impressed with these guys. It takes a ton to get here, to get to this level. And, they certainly take nothing for granted. And you just wish nothing but success for you guys.
Oh, absolutely. And Billy, again, thanks so much for always taking the time to come on the show and chat with us. Again, we wish we'd be able to bother you for post-game scrums over the last year for an OHL season, but we're just going to have to look forward to the fall and hopefully the start of the 2021-2022 season whenever that begins. So good luck. Enjoy the summer and the import draft as well. And hopefully we'll be back safe in the fall, getting geared up to talk with you for the start of the IceDogs season. There's two new crops of IceDog players coming all in at once. It should be really exciting. And you've luckily been able to escape us in the media annoyingly putting mics up to your face for over a year, but that's going to change very soon, whether you like it or not.
Oh, I can't wait. I've missed you guys. I've missed you guys a ton. We'll be back in the fall. Great news with the vaccines coming in. I can't wait to get my second shot. Keep it going, and we'll be back in the fall. And I'm hoping that we have sellout night one. That's my goal here, and I'm ready to put everything behind us, get back to work, and have some fun. See you guys again.
Yep, awesome. Thanks so much, Billy. We'll talk to you very soon.
All right, guys. Take care. I'll see you later.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There was our interview with the head coach of the Niagara IceDogs, Mr. Billy Burke. Kyle, some great insight there about the new draft class. 2 draft classes really coming into the Niagara IceDogs organization, and Billy seems very excited. He was excited to be on kind of the other side of things with the scouting and the front office. It seemed like he really enjoyed that process. And if there was one thing that he took from not being able to coach on the ice, it was all the preparation that it took to go into into the drafting process for the OHL.
Right, and then you can just tell with the excitement of Billy, like, because he was more in that front office role through this obviously this non-OHL season and less of a coaching role. He got to be like right out front with Joey doing these drafts, and you could hear the excitement in his voice for the players too, especially like the first 2 picks they got back to back in the second round. The high hopes he has for them, even in the later round picks. We took a lot of players that were projected top 30 with those later picks. So, it does look like it seemed like the IceDogs and their scouting, which we know obviously are doing their due diligence in their scouting, and have picked a lot of good crop of talent that we're going to see with the IceDogs going forward here. I was really hyped for when he was talking about the goalie too. It was interesting too. He mentioned was the scouting reports on these players. I guess the scouting reports on this year's players in the draft were old. They're from last year. So by the time we get to this coming training camp, these kids are going to get like kids in the age of you are in the OHL. Kids can grow just like that. It's incredible. So there's going to be a lot of these players, like he said, are probably listed as 5'9" on the sheet when they're drafted. But then you go up to camp and there's like a 6'2" giant, and you're like, okay, this guy has the same name. Who is this? So it's incredible to see that information that we learned from him. But he's got me so excited for the IceDogs season now. I can't wait to actually be at the Meridian Center, like you said in the podcast, like to bug him, and because he knows he loves our media scrum, especially after a difficult game. But it's just gonna be nice to be there. And I honestly think what he said is going to happen. The first IceDogs homie is going to be a sellout, because the fans here in the Niagara region are just so crazy about this team, just like we are, and they're going to pack that Meridian Center, and it's going to be one of the loudest nights I think ever in IceDog history that night, and I can't wait for it. Yeah, it's definitely going to be, the roar of the crowd is definitely going to give us goosebumps, I'm sure, even in an OHL arena, but Niagara does a great job of making that feel like, despite not having, as many seats Literally. As an NHL arena or AHL arena. It sounds like a stadium, like a football stadium there. Myself and Brandon have been in these arenas for loud playoff games, and it gets loud. It's deafening. Like it's like you leave the arena and it's like a concert. You get that ringing in your ear because of how loud the crowd is. It's incredible. That place can get rocking. that's why we're always touted as the best fans in the OHL, because we truly are the best fans in the OHL.
Yeah, and we look forward to seeing all of you back at the Meridian Center for the, again, fingers crossed, the first IceDogs home game for the fall in the 2021-2022 OHL season. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for a special edition of the Dog Pound podcast and our interview with head coach Mr. Billy Burke right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. And we are your source North American sports coverage by sports fans for sports fans, delivered to you right here in the beautiful Niagara region. As always, I'm one of your hosts of this podcast. My name is Brandon Capullo. You can follow me on Twitter right down below. I'll get it right one of these days. There we go. At Caputs13_AGM with a Canadian Z. And as always, you can follow my co-host for the Ice Dog portion of the network. He is just Kyle at just Kyle51. He's also doing some great Toronto Maple Leafs franchise stuff on our YouTube channel, trying to make the Toronto Maple Leafs into a Stanley Cup contender, which they obviously can't do in real life. But with that said, big thank you to all the great sponsors help put us on, support the network, keeping the show on the air. And to you viewers out there and Ice Dog fans for tuning in and listening along for this episode for the Dog Pound podcast on the Armchair GM Sports Network by sports fans for sports fans. Bark, 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 go Dogs go. And hopefully we talk to you guys again very soon.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.